Hello, YouTube. We are back in chapter 9 of Genesis, and I'm just going to read the chapter heading here. We're going to get started right away. Noah and his sons are commanded to multiply and fill the earth. They are given dominion over all forms of life. The death penalty is decreed for murder. God will not again destroy the earth by a flood. Canaan is cursed. Shem and Japheth are blessed. Now we're going to go into verse 1. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth. I had a brief thought about this first verse, before we continue, where in my head I was thinking that replenishing the earth could apply in multiple ways, and I think God always wants us to look on the more spiritual side of things as well. And so when God says to Noah and his sons to replenish the earth, it's not just about them taking generations to fill the earth. It's also about replenishing the the spiritual energy that exists on the earth as well, in a sense. We're going to go back into verse 2 of Genesis. All right. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. This is exciting. I'm going to try and memorize that it's in Genesis chapter 9. Um, this is an exciting moment in um, in a few key aspectual ways. Um, God God is changing the way that animals view Adam and his people, because there was some sort of peaceable agreement between animals and humans that was that was there before the flood. And after the flood, this is where things change a little bit. So we're going to go into verse 3. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. And verse 4. But the flesh of the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. So that's God presenting more options for um what what Noah's generations can eat, which is a blessing, and also presenting a protection from um, the scary word cannibalism. And we're going to go into verse 5. And surely your blood of your lives will I require, at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, and the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. This is an interesting verse, and I might read it again just to get a little bit of get those juices flowing in my head and kind of reinterpret it and see what I can figure out about it. We're going to read it again. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man and the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. So this is God attesting to the fact that there will be a tally created for all beasts that are slain, and that it will be kept track of. And this is verse 6. We're going to go into verse 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. Verse 7. And actually, that's a good verse. Verse 6. We're going to read one more time. Verse 6 says, Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. That's, yeah, that's a little hard to unpack. It's a small verse, but of there's a lot of meaning in that verse. So I'll read it one more time. Verse 6, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. So it's just I I like to think of it as the interpretation of man's primitive cycles when they are living through mortality. And we're going to go into verse 7. And you be ye fruitful, and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. And verse 8. And God spake unto Noah, and to his sons with him, saying, verse 9, and I, behold, I establish my covenant with you, and with your seed after you. And verse 10. And with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark, to every beast of the earth. Verse 11. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there be any more flood to destroy the earth. So Genesis 9 verse 11, that's kind of easy to remember, 911. Genesis 9 verse 11 is God's covenant to never flood the earth again. It's interesting that it ends up on the same number as our emergency dial code. That's really cool. And verse 12, we're going to keep going. And God said, this is a token of the covenant which I have made between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. 13, I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. 14, and it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth that the bow should be seen in the cloud. Oh, and this is the rainbow. And verse 15, and I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters no more shall become a flood to destroy all flesh. Verse 16, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. This verse is really nice. I'll read it one more time just because it brings a lot of peace when I read this verse. Verse 16 again says, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. So I think this verse really speaks to how considerate God is in everything that he does. And then we're going to keep going. Verse 17. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Verse 18. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, and Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. Verse 19. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. Verse 20. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. Verse 21. And he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. Verse 23. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And 24. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew that what his younger son had done unto him. In verse 25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. In verse 26. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So a lot happened there, and we're gonna summarize it a little bit. But Noah creates a vineyard and gets drunk, and his kids have to clothe him because he becomes so drunk that he's walking around naked. And then he's talking about some servants that get assigned in the generations, and a little bit of a grudge that Noah decides to hold against a certain race of, or a certain name of servant. We're going to go into verse 26. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Verse 27. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. In verse 28. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. In verse 29. And all of the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. And that is the end of Genesis chapter 9. Noah lived 950 years, which is a long time, considering some of his parents that came before him. Some of them lived to 940 years. One of them lived 919 years. And so it's pretty commendable to live 950 years. And that's the end of Genesis chapter 9. We're going to head into Genesis chapter 10. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.